3 minutes. This is it. Ground zero.
Today, we're diving into one of the most rebellious, mind-twisting, and brutally honest films of the late 90s, Fight Club, 1999, directed by David Fincher. This was more than a movie. It was a mirror, a reflection of a generation that had everything and still felt empty. Released in a world obsessed with branding, consumerism, and appearances, Fight Club asked the one question nobody wanted to hear. What happens when comfort kills purpose? It hit theaters like a punch to the face, raw, violent, and philosophical. Critics didn't know what to make of it. Some called it dangerous, others called it genius. But over time, it became something far greater, a manifesto of modern disillusionment, and one of the most dissected films in cinema history. Fight Club was adapted from Chuck Palahniuk's 1996 novel. Fincher's dark, surreal direction turned it into a generational anthem, a howl from men raised by marketing instead of meaning. Our story begins inside the fractured mind of an unnamed narrator, a white-collar employee whose soul has been hollowed out by routine. By day, he calculates death settlements for an auto company, reducing human lives to spreadsheet numbers. By night, he scrolls through IKEA catalogs, convinced that the next sofa, lamp, or espresso table will complete his existence. He's not living, he's consuming. His identity isn't who he is, but what he owns. Every new purchase promises happiness, but delivers only silence. He's plagued by insomnia, unable to sleep, unable to dream. Trapped between the monotony of daylight and the emptiness of night. In desperation, he visits support groups for diseases he doesn't have. Cancer, blood parasites, testicular failure. Among the terminal and the grieving, he finally finds release. The tears, the hugs, they make him feel something real. For the first time, he can sleep, but that fragile illusion shatters when he meets Marla Singer, another faker. She attends the same groups for the same reason, to feel something. Her presence corrupts his sanctuary. She's the reflection he refuses to face. Another lost soul pretending to belong. Soon after, on a business flight, he meets Tyler Durden, a soap salesman with the charisma of a rock star and the philosophy of a revolutionary. Tyler lives by one mantra: the things you own end up owning you. He is everything the narrator is not: fearless, magnetic, and free from the chains of consumer life. Then the narrator's apartment explodes. All his furniture, all his possessions, all his fake meaning gone. He calls Tyler. They meet outside a dive bar, share a few beers, and Tyler makes a strange request. "I want you to hit me as hard as you can." That punch, messy, painful, and exhilarating, is the birth of something primal. They begin to fight regularly, not out of anger, but out of liberation. Pain becomes therapy. Violence becomes truth. Each weekend, more men gather to join them. Office workers, mechanics, waiters. Men who've been told their whole lives to be polite, to be safe, to be invisible. In the basement of a bar, they rediscover what it means to feel alive. And from those bruises, Fight Club is born. At work, the narrator starts changing. His body weakens, but his confidence grows. He smirks at authority, mocks his boss, and begins to feel the echo of Tyler's chaos in his bones. Then Marla returns. She attempts suicide, and the narrator reluctantly saves her, but Tyler takes an interest in her. Soon, she's living with them in a crumbling house on Paper Street, a decaying mansion that becomes their cathedral of anarchy. Inside, they live without possessions, without structure, without pretense. The place smells of soap and smoke, purity and destruction. The Paper Street house symbolizes rebellion itself. Fincher intentionally aged the film reel to make the imagery grimy, matching the rot of modern existence, a physical rejection of perfection. Tyler pushes their philosophy further. He burns a chemical kiss into the narrator's hand, a scar of enlightenment. Only after disaster, Tyler whispers, "Can we be resurrected?" Its pain is baptism, a moment that fuses agony and awakening. Soon, Fight Club spreads nationwide. Underground cells form in every city, What began as raw therapy mutates into a movement, Project Mayhem. The rules evolve. The fighting becomes training. The purpose becomes destruction. They deface buildings, vandalize art, erase credit card debt, each act justified as a strike against control. But somewhere along the way, the narrator feels something shift. The rebellion he helped build has turned into a cult. Men no longer think, they obey. They chant Tyler's words like scripture. And in those moments, the narrator begins to fear the monster he's unleashed. When a mission goes wrong and a member dies, the group stands in ritual silence chanting, "His name is Robert Paulson," a tragic mantra that marks the movement's descent from freedom to fanaticism. The narrator decides to stop it. But wherever he goes, people salute him. "Welcome back, sir." They call him Mr. Durden, and then the truth hits. Tyler Durden doesn't exist. He's a hallucination. A split personality born from his own suppressed rage, desire, and longing for meaning. The man he admired was his other half all along. A dream of chaos made flesh. Everything. The fights. The house. Project Mayhem. It was all him. Fincher planted subliminal flashes of Tyler before his arrival. These single-frame inserts mirror the narrator's dissociating psyche, a visual glitch of identity unraveling. Horrified, he tries to undo the damage, but Tyler, now a manifestation of his dominance, refuses to vanish. Their final confrontation unfolds in a skyscraper overlooking the city. The skyline glows with bombs ready to detonate. Tyler explains his vision, erasing debt, resetting civilization, freeing mankind from materialism. But the narrator sees through it. Now he realizes Tyler isn't liberation. He's destruction disguised as freedom, and the only way to destroy him is to destroy himself. He raises the gun to his mouth and pulls the trigger. The bullet tears through his cheek, enough to kill Tyler, but not himself. Tyler drops dead, a phantom finally exorcised. Moments later, Marla is brought to him by the remaining followers, confused, terrified, but alive. The narrator takes her hand as the bombs go off in the distance. Skyscrapers crumble, windows shatter, buildings collapse, and through it all, they stand quietly together. A fragile piece at the edge of the apocalypse. "Where Is My Mind" plays over the ruins. A love song for a dying civilization. Fincher changed the book's ending, giving it bittersweet irony. Destruction not as victory, but release. The world burns, yet for a moment there's clarity. When Fight Club premiered in 1999, it horrified studios and polarized critics. But underneath its violence was something hauntingly human. A plea for authenticity in a world drowning in artifice. It exposed the hidden ache of modern life, the emptiness beneath success, the loneliness beneath masculinity, the spiritual starvation behind consumer comfort. Fincher didn't glorify chaos. He dissected it. He showed us a society so obsessed with appearance that destruction felt like the only way to feel real again. The cinematography mirrored this philosophy. Sterile offices contrasted with grimy basements, fluorescent order against flickering anarchy. Fincher's camera never judged. It observed, quietly documenting the unraveling of the human mind. Fight Club didn't predict the future, it defined it. From influencer culture to alpha ideology, from corporate rebellion to brand nihilism. What began as satire became prophecy. Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden became more than a character. He became a myth, a distorted role model of rebellion, charisma, and destruction. Every line he spoke became a quote. Every scene an aesthetic taught Edward Norton. Meanwhile, gave a master class in quiet collapse. A man whose sanity disintegrates beneath fluorescent lights and whispering crowds, and Helena Bonham Carter's Marla Singer. The film's broken conscience drifted through the chaos like a ghost who already understood the punchline, that all of this was absurd. Fincher's grim aesthetic, underscored by the Dust Brothers' industrial score, created a world that vibrated with tension. Every sound, every flicker of film carrying meaning. It wasn't just storytelling. It was confession through chaos. Even 2 decades later, Fight Club still feels dangerous. It's not about violence. It's about identity. Not about breaking bones, but breaking illusions. It reminds us that beneath the calm surface of everyday life lies a storm. The part of us that wants to scream, to burn, to start over. It's a film about the war between control and freedom, between who we are and who we pretend to be. And in that war, Tyler Durden isn't a villain or a hero. He's the question we're all afraid to ask. What if everything we were taught to want was a lie? 25 years later, Fight Club remains a cultural paradox. A movie about rejecting branding that became one of the most branded films ever made. But that's the beauty of it. It became the very monster it tried to destroy. And through that irony, it found immortality. Because Fight Club isn't about destroying the world. It's about destroying the illusion that the world makes sense. That was Fight Club 1999, a film that tore away the mask of modern life and dared us to look at what's underneath. If you enjoyed this recap, subscribe to the Recap Vault, your shortcut to the movies that shaped pop culture.